Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Trucking and Common Sense. I know it's been a minute since I posted something, so I was missing, man. You know, like we said back in the old days, some of y'all might have seen me on a milk carton box, you know what I mean? That's what, if some of y'all don't get the joke, that's what happened when you was missing, when you were missing child, you still in a milk carton box. They put your face on there. So, yeah, myself and my man Wes, we was missing for a minute. And, yeah, as you can see, well, maybe you can't see. I'm on my load board. I'm on my load board, man. I got my cups truck trying to get covered, right? You know, the hustle don't stop. Let me adjust my camera here. Yeah, the hustle don't stop, man. Got trucks already double booked already, loads for Monday, but I also got loads in different areas. I'm trying to get some loads heading out in that direction. So what I'm doing, man, that's the art of dispatching, man. A lot of people constantly calling. Right? Matter of fact, I got a couple of resumes. I'm trying to find me a new dispatcher. And my young lady that was working for me, nice young lady, she watched my video right now. I just want to send a message out to her and tell her keep her head up and hope she's doing well. Anyway, she had to move back to where her family from, dealing with family issues and all that. But anyway, yeah, so that's why I'm heading, and again, the hustle don't stop, son. Real motherfuckers like me, I create doors for people to knock on. So my hustle don't stop. And I ain't ever knocked on nobody's doors in like 25 years, which is a blessing, you know what I mean? Blessing that God gave me some good insight, good foresight that I can make me, But anyway, so I made me in this field of trucking, man, and I've been running my trucks like I said in some of my older videos, just a little bit of my resume, over 25 years. Yeah, and but anyway, man, enough about me or whatever. So I constantly get these calls. Man. Talk about dispatch services, right? Dispatching, right? Like people don't understand the art of dispatching. Dispatching is not just getting on a load board and you put a load on a truck. Dispatching it really takes people a good couple of years to actually master what being a dispatcher is. It's not just getting a load and putting on a truck. Oh man, I just booked a load. I just dispatched a load. Right? So in a sense, how could you to be a good dispatcher in a particular area, or just in the lay of let's say the U.S. right? You have to know the lay of the land. Knowing the lay of the land, you can't just come on the outside of trucking and figure out, I'm going to buy dispatch programs. Like I see people on Instagram and whatnot, and those high energy people, those high energy guys. I think, there's some guy, I don't know what the other part of his name is, some high energy. I call him high energy buffoon because I actually know some people who actually know him personally, and they laugh at that cat all the time because he was making money off of people, selling them the hype. And in one of my other videos and stuff, I ran into one of my mechanic guys actually knew this dude. This dude said he had one raggedy ass truck, and he was pinching pennies to actually fix a raggedy ass truck. So once he figured out how to get on the load board, now he turned it into something that he does all the time. And then he was selling people wolf tickets off of that. And a lot of y'all, that little car that he be driving, or whatever he told you that he made off of that. And not to just single him out, a lot of people sold y'all hustles. So the thing is, man, dispatching is an art where you got to understand that you got to see that truck all the way through until it gets back to you, right? To put it in a nutshell, put it like this: the platform for dispatching is to play, like, let's say for example, you take the game of ping pong. You hit it to the left, hit it back to the right. You hit it from the left to the right. You hit it from the right to the left. The load has to make sense. You just can't just put a load on a truck Like some of these brokers, they be telling you, oh yeah, man, take this load to Timbuktu and I'm gonna get you another load. And these people out here are so stupid. They're like, yeah, man, my broker said he's gonna get me a load. Brokers don't have loads in Timbuktu. If you over here in Kalamazoo and they're telling you to take this load to Timbuktu, that don't mean that they're gonna get you a load out of Timbuktu. They don't have connections like that. You know what I mean? He's only concerned to you. He's only concerned with you at this time is on the load that he has right now. And a lot of y'all getting played like that. You know what I mean? I said getting played, getting hoodwinked, bamboozled, run amok. AKA, I'm going back to my Malcolm X movie. Taken for a fool, taken for a ride. So this, this dispatching thing, it's an art to it. You know what I mean? As simple as you may think it is, to be successful in this business, it takes a long time. And it takes a long time. And not to say I didn't invent the game of dispatching. Or I didn't master it. I mean, I didn't invent it. Oh, yeah, I mastered it. What am I saying? I'm selling myself short. What the fuck? I'm the man. I'm the goat of this shit. I'm a goat. I'm quite sure there's other cats out here that's good as it. You know what I mean? Because when you're good at something, you could show a resume of accomplishment. And so going back to the whole dispatching thing, I don't want to get sidetracked because I could easily get sidetracked. Sometimes my mind moves a lot faster than my mouth. But there's people out here thinking that learning how to gain access to a load board, or even people from overseas, right? So the other day, let's say for the sake of names, and I don't want to butcher nobody's name, this dude named Patel. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? Come on, we're going to put a little street humor in it. Stop being a little bitch and be all politically correct. So Patel calls me up and stuff and tell me he wants to dispatch my truck. He had good paying loads. I said, Patel, who tells you, what's your definition of a good paying load? Because, Patel know all you suckers out here knowing that the first thing or the only thing that a truck driver wants to hear, I got good paying loads. What's your definition of good paying loads? A good paying load is for you to get me a load that could cover my costs, not just barely covering my costs, but over exceeding my costs. And everybody's numbers is different. So what's a good paying load? How could you be in Timbuktu across the ocean and you dispatching trucks with a Magic Jack number that says Georgia, New York, California? So you calling me on a WhatsApp or a Magic Jack number, and I'm supposed to be thinking that you right here laying up, in the lay of the land. And with technology, these days, like people are constantly being able to work remotely, right? And they figure, well, you're a buffoon truck driver, you're an owner operator. Or I wouldn't even discredit a man or a woman that has a small fleet, that has enough sense to know, to accomplish, when I say a small fleet, to acquire a couple of trucks that you would actually hire someone overseas to be a dispatcher for you. That's the recipe, or that's the formula for going out of business. Because a dispatcher, if you don't understand the cost of operating your truck or the cost of running your trucks, how can you tell me that you got a good load for me, and it's gonna cover my cost, but you don't know what my cost is, right? That's like me giving you a job, or that's like you accepting a job at a convenience store or McDonald's or restaurant, whatever. And I'm telling you, this is a good job for you. And if you don't, and not knowing your other sources of income, that this job right here is going to be able to cover your rent or mortgage, your car note, and all your means of what you need to survive. So I'm telling you, look, man, this is a good job for you. So you let my man Patel tells you, hey man, this is a good load for you. But I don't know if you got a truck that get 2 miles to the gallon. That's those big boy trucks with those big Peterbilts with a Caterpillar engine, and I'm getting you a heavy ass load that's going to give you like 3 miles to the gallon. Or do a sensible move. And not that I'm not promoting Freightliner, but I'm a Freightliner guy. For the past 20 something years, I've been having trucks and running my trucks. Oh, this dude's gonna try to give me this email right here. Oh, now he's talking about the load got canceled. You're a sucker. All right, let me tell you politely. So yeah, this dude right here, I was waiting for a response. I just sent out 2 emails for my trucks. I have some loads, both on the outside of Atlanta on Monday, and I'm trying to make sure I could get me a load to go in those directions. I don't want to deadhead my truck out there, because now I'm leaving money on the table. But sometimes, for the sake of business and commitment, and when you already committed on a load, and especially if this is one of your frequent people that you interact with on a business level, sometimes you take a L to make a bigger win. Sometimes I might deadhead my truck to go pick a load up, even though I can't get a load to go in that direction prior. Why I do that, or why did I do that? Because the volume of loads that I get from this particular person. So in business, everything is generated on volume. You don't look, those smart people that actually know business, sometimes I'm not going to hit you in the head if I'm getting a lot more business from you. If I hit you in the head for a rate, I know I will never hear from you again. So sometimes, because of the volume of freight that I get from these two particular people, 2 particular brokers, well, one is a broker, one is not. One is one of my direct customers. I deadhead my truck out there and go get it. Do they have to know about that? If in case I want them to really see how committed I am, which I don't need to rub that in their face all the time. So they know I will. I'll make it happen. I'm the dude for that company that picks up the fumble. So I get a lot of generous calls. But anyway, so going back to Patel. So how could Patel tell me that he has a good paying load for me? So when Patel called me up, I said, my man, what country are you calling me from? And he paused and he fumbled, so I already know that he picked up on the fact that I know that he was not calling me from the US. Oh, he's telling me, dispatch service. I said, my man, it's people like you that's messing up the trucking industry. But then I had to pause a little bit and be like, no, it's not people like him that's messing up the trucking industry solely. He cannot take the blame, because you cannot be made into a fool if you don't let somebody play you for a fool. So he could be one of the contributing factors. So I decided to entertain the conversation. I entertained the conversation for a minute, and I'm a little bit, I don't know what's going on, man. I don't know if it's pollen or whatever, but I think my wife gave me some bug, man. Gotta watch where you put your lips, man. I don't know, making my wife laugh right now. Because I kissed her, I guess, too many times, and she gave me whatever bug she had. Now I'm over here sucking on cough drops. But yeah, it's people like them that messes up, or people like you who let people tell you that's a good paying load. That's $2 a mile. Case in point, a little while ago, earlier, I had my truck posted in different cities around Atlanta. And somebody called me and offered me, I see you have a truck posted in Stockbridge. I said, yeah. Oh, I have a load for you for Monday morning going to Charlotte. I said, okay, well, I don't want to go in that direction. I need to go in another direction. But just for entertaining sake, let me hear about your load. Oh, well, it's a preloaded trailer at the shipper. I said, okay, so what kind of rate are you offering on that for offering me to do that? $500, son. So, without having to take out my trusty bestie right here, which is my calculator, they're offering you $500. From Atlanta to Charlotte, it's 250 miles. So these people think that I'm a part of the dumbass crew, that I'm thinking, oh man, that's $2 a mile. And I said, are you serious? She said, what do you mean? I said, you offering me to take I'm supposed to be wild by that, a preloaded trailer from a shipper to someone in Charlotte. More or less, they asking me for power only. And then you're going to pay me $500? $500 don't even get me to the Georgia state line in South Carolina. $500, I mean, I would do loads from Atlanta to Greenville, but not as for Charlotte. Loads supposed to pay at least $1,000. And I don't do nothing. Spartanburg don't even get $500, going up 85. Those of you who knows the map, the layout. But yeah, but anyway, these people out here continuing, man, and look, America is built on capitalism, okay? If somebody gonna sell this bullshit to you and you're dumb enough to buy the bullshit, then it's all fair game. No one's forcing you to do it. But some of us, we don't know, and it's even more jacked up that you don't know that you don't know. That's the ugly part. You don't know that you don't know. And when someone is trying to tell you, sometimes you don't absorb it, you don't receive it, and then you gotta go bump your head. Then you gotta go pick yourself up from the ground, and you gotta wonder like, oh man, so-and-so did this. Nah, son, you wasn't listening. You wasn't listening when someone's trying to tell you, and you keep on kicking that dumb ball further, or that dumb can, whatever you kick down the road, you keep on kicking that rhetoric, that $2 a mile bullshit. So definitely, the art of dispatching, you have to know the lay of the land. You have to know where to send your truck to in order to actually bring your truck back from your starting point loaded. Empty truck does not make nothing but noise. Just like an empty wagon makes noise, an empty truck makes noise going down the road. There's nothing holding that truck down. A good tornado come with you on your 75, 85, 95, 60 or 40 or 55, whatever part of the country you're at. A good tornado come, is flipping that empty truck. Not to say that it's all windy everywhere, but I'm just talking smack off of an empty truck line. The art of dispatching, you have to know the lay of the land. You have to know where there's freight at. You have to know where there's industry at. We have to know where there's manufacturing, industry manufacturing. You have to know these things in order to dispatch your trucks out in that direction. Those of you out here that are doing this and you're rate chasing, you're chasing rates. Oh man, this is a good rate to go over there. So you send your truck out there, but you're not thinking about, you have to think about it all the way through. You have to think about the return trip. And if you don't know the lay of the land, some of you who don't sit here and study the load board, you don't just look at, oh, this is a load going this way. Oh, that's a nice city. My auntie lives over there. Your auntie lives over there, but that don't mean there's freight over there. You know what I mean? So you have to understand, don't run no cheap, heavy ass freight. If the freight is heavy, the rate gotta be heavy. But it's not just that, but it has to make sense for you to return. Because whatever you took a heavy rate to go in that particular direction, and you don't get no loads coming back, then your rate gotta be divided in two, son. Because you're coming back empty. The art of dispatching is not something that just log onto a load board and you figure out, oh man, I got access to this load board. I'm gonna call this broker and I'm gonna figure out, I'm gonna be able to get a load. I'm gonna be able to get a load to Kalamazoo because I'm over here in Timbuktu. And oh man, this right here pays good. He don't like this. But now tomorrow you got the same problem. Oh man, my truck over there in Timbuktu, I need to bring it back to Kalamazoo. And then what? The art of dispatching, people, you have to know the lay of the land. You just can't just put a load on the truck. Someone can't come work for me and come telling me, oh yeah, I know about LQT. Obviously I'm saying broker name backwards. Heavy and cheap freight, I know about this. Like you name dropping thinking you impress me. I'm looking at you like, you're a dumbass. Like, what makes you think I'm impressed by some bullshit that everybody else does? Your truck got to be dispatched in a direction where it makes sense. Right? Don't just name drop because you hear a couple terminologies and, oh man, I got my LLC and my EIN. My 6-year-old, he ain't 6-year-old no more. Well, guess what? I'm about to have a granddaughter I have a granddaughter, she about to be 6. My granddaughter could get an LLC in her name. She can get an EIN in her name. She could even get a DOT. Yeah, she could even get an MC number in her name. She could she could be a truck owner at 6 years old. That's not impressive. Stop trying to name drop and terminology drop to make people think that you know what you're doing. But the people that actually has the smarts, they're looking at you and realizing how stupid you are. Like, why you ain't trying to impress someone with an LLC? That's not impressive, my man. The best thing you could do, if you don't have nothing smart to say, just keep your mouth closed, son. Keep your mouth closed, because sometimes you seem a lot smarter when you don't say nothing. As soon as you open your mouth and you think you want to join into grown folks' conversation, as people say, but you still have a childlike mentality or a childlike education within a particular field, you're showing someone how adolescent you are. The best thing to do is retain things that you're listening to. So today you started a conversation, you only had a penny. When you finish the conversation with someone, by you being quiet, you let them tell you some things. You walk away with a nickel worth of conversation. You remember, you came in with a penny, you're walking away with a nickel. Tomorrow now, you now have that nickel. You could start up that same topic with someone else. Now you're coming into the game with a nickel's worth of knowledge about that particular topic. See, we started on trucking, now I'm giving you some common sense. Right? So now you come into the topic with a nickel's worth of conversation. And if you want to listen and you want to be a sponge, now you started with a penny, you left with a nickel. So your next conversation now is going to start with a nickel, and now you could walk away with 10 more cents. Now you got 15 cents of knowledge or information on that particular topic. All right? So giving you some common sense games. Sometimes it's not always try to measure up with someone based on the fact that you have a nickel, but that nickel, or based on the fact that you have a penny. Wait till you get a little nickel in your pocket. Wait till you get a dime plus that nickel equals 15 cents in your pocket. Then if you're a real smart hustler, then you could continue to increase that. You went from a nickel to a dime to 15 cents. Now you got 25 cents. Now you got 50 cents. Now you're real knowledgeable about a conversation. But the person just always think there's someone who knows more than you. So sometimes you have to know when to shut the hell up and play dumb. Sometimes you got to play possum, right? Sometimes you got to play dumb, and that's the smartest move that you will make, instead of thinking that you're so smart and looking dumb. Conversation, people. Conversation, man. So yeah, it's your boy Batman. I'm back on the air. I'm no longer missing, man. I had to take care of some stuff. You know, I was mentally distracted, man. You know, real hustlers like me, I don't sleep. I got stuff going on constantly. Not bad stuff, you know what I mean? I'm just pulling different directions. So sometimes I don't have time to actually get in the mindset to sit down and actually make a video and try to expand some knowledge. You know, Rich, I'm going to try to increase myself. My man Wes, shout out to my man Wes. That's my brother, man. Wes and I, we're not biological brothers, but the admiration and love for him that I have for him. Met him when he was like 19 years old. I think it was 19. I make jokes with him about when I met him. But that's my brother. He got his hustle going on as well. So sometimes we get a little absent from this right here, but we try to be on this, but like one of my boys called me last night and said, "Yo, Batman, I ain't spoke to you, man, in so many months, man." But it's like he was telling people, when he speak to me, it's like we spoke yesterday. Because I respect a brother who don't, "Oh man, you haven't spoken to me, but all of a sudden, man, you must be mad with me." Dude, I'm a grown ass man. You're a grown ass man to be my friend, bro. You don't need to talk to me every day for me to feel that you and I are connected. The respect that I have for you to call you my friend, or you call me your friend, you should understand that we out here taking care of our business. When we see each other, we see each other just like yesterday. We don't have time. Real men or grown men don't have time for for estrogen in our conversation. Real men got testosterone. You know what I mean? When you have a man that have so much estrogen is something that runs in women. That means we're driven on emotions and feelings and all that. You know what I mean? All your estrogen and your feelings yeah, I'm so hurt because he ain't called me. We ain't got time for that. Real men is like, son, what's up? Respect, man. I ain't seen you in however. What's good? How the family? Yo, you know, how your hustle been good for you? Right? But anyway, that's what my man Wes is. That's what me and my boy Wes. Call my boy, man. That's my dude. Nothing but respect and admiration. But yeah, we'll be back on here. Here I am. I'm still trying to get one of my trucks loaded. I got 3. Yeah, I got to keep 2 of them here next week till Monday. But I already got 2 of them already loaded up. So still, if not, I'm just gonna have to do a ghost ride and actually go out there and actually get this load and come back, bite the bullet. But anyway, man, the art of dispatching, man. I gave you some common sense droplets right there. The art of dispatching is not something that you learn overnight, man. You can't learn this game of trucking from the outside in. Speaking of trucks, there go one of my trucks right there, just coming back in, and I just realized that it hit my geofence, and yeah, I have geofence around my office, so every time my trucks come within a particular area, it sends me an email. When it leaves, it sends me an email, and I just saw that driver. For some of you who don't have that technology, man, it's nothing. I mean, you could have it if you have assets. You know, you put your tracking device on your particular asset, and you know when it's, you know, it sends me an email whenever my truck comes back in my geofence or whenever it leaves. You know, if someone was to steal one of my trucks or my trailers, I send them a thank you letter. Thank you. Sends me an email. I know someone just moved my truck without authorization, and you see where it is. So yeah, you know, shit, you got to protect what you work for. But anyway, I was just jabbering on right now. I'm trying to be silly-winded, long-winded, I guess. Until you next time, the art of dispatching, going back to my basis, is not just to log on to a load board and let somebody use you for a fool. Before you get into this hustle, know your hustle. You know what I mean? And the only way you're gonna know your hustle is to be quiet, absorb something, learn from it before you step out there and put your big boy pants on. Don't be a skinny cat and trying to wear double XL clothes. You look stupid. You know what I mean? So don't be a skinny dude trying to put big boy pants on. You look stupid. You know? When you learn to fill out that clothes, that's when you wear the clothes. When you learn to fill out a boss man suit, that's when you put on your boss man suit. In the meantime, there's nothing wrong with learning and taking your baby steps. You know, the game of life, you don't go from 0 to 60. 0 to 60 only applies to a racetrack, and the game of life is not a racetrack. Nobody has go from point A to point B in a certain amount of time. No one accomplishes that with a straight line. So again, it's your guy Batman. I'm no longer missing. I'm no longer on a milk carton box. I jumped off of that. I'm back in the swivel. I'm back in the hustle. And until next time, peace.